I'm also, think well of Ann. We're former colleagues. But I do think the perception in Egypt among a lot of people who are not, shall we say, instinctively sympathetic to this government in Egypt is that the United States is giving Morsi a pass and giving this government a pass because it got elected. And I think that's a mistake. Yes, they got elected, and that's, if you will, you get points for that, but you don't get a pass for that. And since he has not governed in a way that I would argue is democratic. So I think what you have here is a consensus, is that US aid needs to be conditional. And the Egyptians are going to complain about that. They're going to say, you're infringing our sovereignty. And I would say, so be it. You have the sovereign right not to accept American aid. We have the sovereign right to condition it. You don't want to accept it on these terms? Great. Go do without it, get aid from other places, which in some cases, by the way, they have. And that aid will not be in any way conditioned. We have to understand that. But I think we should be publicly and privately, we should speak out for the principles we believe in, and we should basically stand for democratization in Egypt. And constantly talk, yes, about Egypt's importance and all that, but we've got to change the tone and the substance of our policy. It's also possible, so now, if I haven't been controversial yet, let me be now, that you could have the military get involved. Just imagine that is a possible scenario. And I would simply say, if that were to happen, the United States needs to take a deep breath. And before we start condemning anybody, before we start talking about aid cutoffs, we need to think for a second and say, what is our goal here? Our goal is democratization. So what we should then do is work with whoever is in power, whether it's Morsi, whether it's the military, whether it's somebody else, and say, we will have a conditional relationship. We will talk to you about a roadmap, a schedule, what will be the principles of governance, what will be the calendar of it, and we will then figure out how we will react to that, what kind of aid we will give you to facilitate that process. We should avoid, if you will, being, quote unquote, so principled that if we see setbacks to democracy, that our relationship, we toss it over the edge. Madeleine's exactly right. We have a big long-term relationship with this country that's somewhere between a quarter and a third of the Arab world, one of the great centers, if you will, of the Arab world, in the peace relationship with Israel, very much a participant directly and indirectly in the intellectual and political clashes of going on in this part of the world today. So we've got to play this for the long haul, not just react tactically.